time to kick ass and chew bubble gum, and I'm all out of gum.
Well, hello there guys, and welcome to the channel. Hope everybody's doing well today. And good morning, Multi-Clean, Dexter, Apur, Ace Fusion, everybody else. Hope all of you are well today. Interesting. Which one is better? Oh, I guess I'll... Kind of tricky. It's kind of tricky. Something has changed a bit. Oh well. What's up, Vishal? Welcome to the stream. Right. Have some arena and stuff to do. And some conversations to be had. What are you guys up to today? How are you enjoying your Friday night, Saturday? Right. Either way. Hope you guys are ready. Are you? You should be. Conversations, you say? Well, isn't that why you're here? Isn't that why you are here? I'm hardly the entertainer of the decade, so to speak. You know? I'm hardly the most funny or sarcastic or just, you know, entertaining streamer on YouTube, and I'm well aware of that. But the question is then, why do you come back here? I basically, you know, for the first time, got 7 million, guess I need much more developed roster. Yeah, you know, again, I made a video specifically explaining how you can figure out how much points you can put up with, like, you know, dedicated grinds and stuff like that. But, you know, roster size is very important, and what's also very, very important is whether you have the 5-star champions at like rank 2, rank 3 and stuff like that, because, you know, you might have a ton of 5 stars, but if most of them are rank 1, then, you know, can't really benefit from them much, or it's hard to make use of them. So yeah, roster, you know, amount of champions is important, but also, like, you know, their rank and stuff like that. And then once your roster gets bigger, it's also quite important what masteries you use, because it's far easier to grind arena with Liquid Courage Double Edge on than without. There's a huge difference in time commitment needed. Like a massive difference. Because each fight is just quicker and quicker. Perhaps I had something specific I wanted to talk about. I'm gonna be making at least another video on the whole Ukraine situation today. Because, well, again, it's not going to be... There's obviously going to be a video about everything that's happening there, but it's also about being careful which bits to believe and which not. And, you know, I'll explain a bit later, but you can see a lot of purposeful misinformation, first of all, being spread all across, like, comment sections and tweets and stuff like that, which is obviously, you know, propaganda from one side, largely. But you can also see a lot of news outlets just pushing out videos and clips that are, you know, blatantly untrue without checking them. Like, have you seen that clip where tank runs over a car? And, you know, pretty much everybody, or most of the news outlets that posted it, either did it deliberately misleading, never specifically stating that it is a Russian tank by Russian pilots purposely crashing civilian car and stuff like that, or did just that, purposely misstating it. But, you know, it's not. So it's I hope it's going to be an interesting video. So there will be some specific things that I do want to talk about. Also, I want to piece together two clips of Joe Biden and Kamala Harris taken like 4 days apart. One of them saying these sanctions are meant to deter Russia, and, you know, this is our leverage, and we can't implement them now because if we do, then, you know, we're gonna lose our leverage basically. And then Biden goes out and says sanctions were never meant to deter Russia. It's like, well, which one is it? One of you two is lying, you know? Either she lied then or you're lying now, but one of you two is lying. That's as simple as that. You have president and vice president saying completely opposite things days apart. So it's a very, very complex situation, obviously. And, you know, but it's very also important that people don't lose the idea of reality and just buy into the idea that, you know, our countries are good, we're doing everything that we can, and stuff like that. And, you know, we'll talk about it. We'll talk about it in that video. But obviously the bottom line doesn't change. Obviously the bottom line doesn't change at all. Putin, you know, has to be stopped. It's simple as that. As far as I'm concerned, there's only one world leader. Regardless of all the other issues, there's only one world leader who gave an order right now that will result in deaths of thousands of people. But, you know, let's get back to MCOC a bit. That's more or less for the second channel. I'll try to upload some MCOC video today too. It's actually quite tricky to switch from one side to another. It really is. It kind of... if you start thinking about one thing too much, you're kind of in a wrong headspace to create for the other, you know. Because they are, like, ultimately, like... That is one thing that I kind of didn't really think about too much. Because one thing is to discuss, like, very heavy subjects. Very heavy... Like, yesterday's stream definitely inspired me for another video about cognitive dissonance. And how people rather get... just because... Batman Chels on margaritas, so I hear. But thank you, Chels. Thank you very much. Hope you're having a great evening. Well, I don't know many people who do margaritas in a bad evening. Or I don't know of many evenings that margaritas don't make at least tolerable. But thank you very much. I appreciate that. That's definitely tremendously helpful right now. It's tremendously helpful. And here we are. We got Batman Chels. We got Batman Chels. I actually need to do something with the link as well. I need to fast forward it to...
Welcome.
But yeah, hello there, Chels. Hi, yes, strawberry extra shots. Oh, that sounds absolutely lovely. That sounds absolutely lovely. I'm still sticking strong to my no drinks. I haven't had any drinks. In a really long time. And where can we drop a good message? I think that's fine. Most of the people are asleep during these hours. Either way. Either way. But, oh, Batman Chels here, so that's all what we need. That's all that we need. Right, I have all the milestones in this one. I need to get the 6-star milestones. Oh. Well, yesterday I had like a very, very long conversation with my mom. It's been a while since I spoke with her. So I'm actually quite happy with that. Because, you know, sometimes when your life, life gets in the way, you kind of get distracted and stuff like that. And it's one of the personal qualities I don't kind of like about myself too much. I'm much more of a right here, right now, right in front of me guy. And if something's not in front of me, I kind of often, put out of the way or dissuade myself from, like being too actively following. So I do struggle to keep in touch with people that I'm not in touch daily, kind of thing, if that makes sense. And yeah, so I had a nice conversation with my mom yesterday. We kind of caught up, spoke for quite a while. So I'm that genuinely just made me feel better. That genuinely just made me feel better. I don't actually watch news. Not going to spend my time reading both sides of every story. So just figure out better not to read. Well, that's not... And I don't agree to that kind of... what's the best way to put it? Yeah, no, I don't agree with that approach either. Because that is, that is the second best scenario for everybody who wants to push agenda or a goal or something like that. Only thing that's worse than person who knows nothing is the person who's absolutely brainwashed or and gaslighted. Learning things and being aware of the world and events around you is important, in my opinion. And yeah, I think giving up on news and events and things that do happen around you is, almost as bad as actively believing everything that you're told, because, I'm just not going to listen to anyone. Really? It's like, then how will you learn? How will you know when you need to make a decision that matters? How will you know that you're, making the correct one? So I don't disagree with just hiding your head in the sand just because you can't be bothered. The way I look at it, it's the burden that comes with our times. It's kind of the best way to put it. If you lived 500 years ago, part of your daily routine might be chopping firewood or walking distance to get drinking water or walking 3 hours to town to get some shopping done. Life was a lot more inconvenient, and that was part of the cost of the times that you live in. You had to spend a lot of time of your life doing things that today we take for granted because we have all of these, technological convenience machines, If you had a functioning mobile phone 500 years ago, you could literally be the smartest and most capable person on the planet because you'd be like a superhero. You'd know everything. You would never get lost, and you'd have access to, people's personal information and stuff like that. And all of that would seem like magical powers back then, right? And, we have acquired these powers, but none of us want to think about how we use them or what for we use them or, And part of the cost that comes in living in 2022, when you can find out everything, is that you need to learn how to filter information, and you'll need to learn how to keep your head straight. And again, not taking in any information, not being aware of what's happening around you is like the second worst thing you can do to yourself. The worst being is, you know, blindly following all the spins and narratives and getting in an echo chamber and, you know, being activist for some cause or something like that. That turns out to be utter bullshit. That's only one step worse than not knowing anything. So, you know, that's how I look at it. What's up, Mr. Victor? What's up, Mr. Victor? Chels comes here with her margaritas, and I put in a heavy story on her. Family is everything. I agree. I still have several family members and people that I do want to talk back in Latvia, so I'm probably going to spend another hour or two today on phone and stuff like that, catching up with people there. Actually prefer people living in the moment in front of them. Niece absolutely loves and adores me, but once she's away from her city, we both nearly forget each other. And I'm kind of similar like that with a lot of people. I genuinely struggle with keeping in touch, you know, and it's not just people, it's pretty much everything. No, Slinger, what I mean is if you had access to a functioning mobile phone, imagine that it does work and it still holds the information of all the people around the world like you do today. I'm just saying, imagine the things that you could do today with your mobile phone, and you would be the only person on the world who could do them 500 years ago. Imagine that people's Twitter accounts are still active, except that they're not consciously posting them. It posts what, you know, they would have posted or what they're actually thinking. Imagine that, you know, everything still functions within your mobile phone as it does today, 500 years ago, except all the information is kind of like being magically put in there, stuff like that, you know? You get what I mean? This is like a legitimate superpower by standards of 500 years ago. Then it would be magic. Yeah, exactly. It would be magic, but it's based on today's reality. Nothing more than you are able to do today. And that would be enough. Obviously, it's, you know, a bit twisted hypothetical, but it should still carry the same point across. But what I wanted to say, it's not just people that I'm like that with. I'm like with I don't know, clothes and things. I might have, I don't know, a jumper that I really, really love. But if it happens to fall behind the closet, or if I happen to put it, you know, at the bottom of a stack somewhere that I'm not gonna go over in a moment, I'm gonna forget about that piece of clothing for a year or two, and then I'm gonna find it like 2 years later and it's like, oh right, I really like this, why did I ever kind of like give it up wearing? And it turns out it's just because you know, either I went to travel somewhere and I left it in a suitcase or stuff like that. And it's not, again, just clothes, it's pretty much everything. I'm really kind of like in front of me guy, and then something's out of my sight, it often falls out of my mind, and not consciously. I don't look at it as like, you know, character strength or anything like that. I think it's a stupid thing. I really dislike that thing about me, but that's how I am. It's hard for me to think or pay attention or invest myself in things that I'm not exposed with daily. Where there is a champion for 624. Is there a champion for 624? 624. Well, 624 doesn't need a champion. You just need to not get hit whilst the armor is active. So for 624, you just need to be patient when the yellow circle is active, and that's literally it. You know, you don't need a special champion for 624. I had 6.2 champion beta, but I was unable to cross with any amount of revives. Oh, it's, the champion is easier now. The champion is easier now than he used to be. There are many guides out there that you should take a look at. The champion fight. Raid from random stream, but it's only me raiding. It's okay, meme boy. And welcome to the stream, meme boy. Good morning. What's up, Nasty Dan? Good morning to you. I agree that keeping up to date is important, but at times getting the correct and main information can be quite exhausting when to have it. Absolutely, it is exhausting. Just like it's exhausting to chop firewood. Just like it's exhausting to walk miles to the nearest town to get food. Just like it's exhausting to, I don't know, wash your, to heat up water every time you need warm water. We have exchanged our troubles and problems and stuff like that, and we have gained a lot of progress, but life's not meant to be easy. Life's not meant to, you know, not be exhausting. And I do kind of find it, you know, one's personal duty of the time to learn how to efficiently filter through sources of information, take what you need, discard what you don't believe, combine it, and keep yourself informed best you can. I think the world would be a much better place if more people did that. That would be witchcraft, you'd be burned at the stakes, and well, but again, if you had that power, people would perhaps try to burn you on the stake, but if you had all the information and access to it, you would be easily able to manipulate people and move the world forward, and you would literally have immense power in your hands if you had access to fully functioning, magically loaded mobile phone 500 years ago. If I had a phone 100 years ago, I would wait the stock market and investing everything, become Warren Buffett myself. But of course, that too. Why not? I shouldn't use level 2. How's my favorite YouTuber? I'm doing well. I'm doing A-okay. It's a great start of Saturday. It's always a great start of Saturday when you guys are here. Always a great start of Saturday when you guys are here. Discussion on the forums, whistling cannot an undo button to EQ. I'm sure they could if they wanted to, but you know, in EQ it's not like the biggest problem though, I think. I know what you mean, I have taken the wrong path and it is annoying and it does waste energy, but as long as we have undo button in Alliance Quest and Alliance War, you know, I think that's kind of like the main basis covered. Obviously it would be still nice, I just don't think it's super important, but you know, it doesn't have to be. Minor improvements can be useful too. Yeah, exactly, that would be Slinger, exactly my point. And what's up, Slinger? Good morning to you too. Yeah, BRB, let me raid my Steve, thanks. Rating 2, but I'm the only one. Oh, cool, thank you. Thank you very much, Steve. Thank you for correcting me. Look at that. Information exchange. Collect 500 units. Temptation to go one machine cows. You see, don't do that. Don't do that. Again, 500 units, 300 of them go to calves, and then you're like, dang it. Honestly, if you had magic phone like that 500 years ago, they'd probably burn you at stake. If you were stupid about it, they would. Of course they would. But you know, if you hid it from society, and if you used it wisely, you could take over the world, or you could shape the world, and you alone could make sure that the world looks significantly different, if you were smart enough on how to use it. You know what I mean? And then you could finally tell them that burning people at stake is not okay. If you were the most powerful person around. Just saying. Yeah, I know. I know. It is hard. I understand. You know, I'm no different. I have my weak moments when I pop a random cab and I'm like, why did I do that? I do that myself. Be that cabs or sometimes like some small offer or something like that. Like, it's very easy to kind of just say, it's just a fiver, and, you know, grab those nexus and stuff like that they do every Wednesday. still try not to. The way I convince myself not to get those crystals most of the time is I just go through the champions list and I kind of count which ones I would want, which ones I wouldn't want, and you know, which ones I actually really care about. And then I realize in most of those crystals there's very few best case scenarios. And keeping in mind that getting a 6-star in the first place is already a rare occurrence, and that then getting a 6-star that I actually want is like super rare occurrence, and then I kind of can talk myself out of those tiny ones. They killed the guy saying, I know, I'm fully well aware of the story about Giordano Bruno. Even learned that song as one of the first, you know, very early in my music class. I even learned that song in Latvian about burning him up and celebrating and jubilating that you were burning a pagan, basically, kind of thing. I'm not as... I'm likely not as well versed in a lot of things like that as you are, you know, but I'm not necessarily completely unread or unaware of historical things either, especially when it comes to European history in particular. My favorite teacher and my classroom teacher, and the one teacher that could handle me, was history teacher, and I quite, you know, like history. Swear to God, that particular history teacher in question had more balls than this entire chat combined. And she was so hardcore. Honestly, it would be better, like the way you're talking about, it would make my life more difficult, with the reward making my life more difficult. Ugh. I can kind of understand that motivation. I just don't believe that that's who we are. I don't believe that long term our desire is to keep our head down, know nothing, hear nothing, see no wrongs, you know, and pretend that everything's fine. I think that eats away its soul. It eats away my soul. Because then, you know, everything kind of starts to lose meaning. So again, I don't think life's meant to be easy for anyone. I think no matter who you are, no matter where you're born, you're going to have your problems. And you're not going to run away from them. You're going to run away from few, but new ones will find you. And I think, you know, to ultimately be able to go to bed kind of happy, satisfied with yourself, one should work much more on trying to learn how to tackle those problems than finding out about as little problems as possible. And, you know, it's very kind of preachy thing to say. I understand that. I fully do. And I myself have plenty to improve in regards of myself. But at the very least, I don't believe in making life easy for myself. So 1 cow in 3-4 months in the back. Yeah, 1 cow in a few months is obviously very good. Hey, what's up, K-Dog? How are you doing? How are you doing, K-Dog? How's everybody doing? Look at that. K-Dog appears, then even Chels comes out of hiding, because which one of you is whose office blink now? I don't even really know, but you guys have your entire office blink situation. And you better be careful, K-Dog. I hear there are margaritas and strawberries involved tonight. Which means she's ever so more blingy than usual. Now, it's one thing how Chels's office bling, but it's completely different picture when you put a margarita with a strawberry in her hand. You know, you're shooting off completely different messaging there. So, just figured It's a piece of information you might want to be aware of. So God, when I do something stupid like spending in on cows, feel really bad, urged them. Well, if you do that, then go and do variants. Go and do Act 6. What are you waiting for, Devonch? What are you waiting for? What are you waiting for? Come on, Schmerkelis. Let's whoop that. History is evident that ignorance has always created tyrannical men. So yes, when the guys goes exactly, but this is the same situation as, like, you know, James is describing. You can be ignorant by believing all the wrong things, or you can become ignorant and uneducated, you know, and unaware of the world by not paying any interest and having no knowledge of it. And then when time comes, if you know nothing, it's super easy to manipulate you and make you think whatever you want. And you know, you can see the same thing in Russia right now. You know, there's decades of state propaganda with twisted versions of objective truth and, you know, presentation of information just from one side. And ultimately, right now, there are millions of people in Russia who believe that killing innocent Ukrainians on orders of Putin is the right thing. That's not majority of the people, but most of the people who do think that, you know, war is justified, war is a good thing, do think so as an after effect of having all sorts of crap like that pushed in their heads. It's that they, you know, grew up with the images of glory of Soviet Union and, you know, all this hyper kind of like hatred, not even hatred, like more like nationalism about the greatness of Russian Empire. And now these people believe that it's a good thing to go and shoot up their neighboring country. And what James is describing, you know, you're lucky that you're American, obviously it doesn't involve you, but if James would live in Russia with the same thought process that he does living in USA, he right now would be one of those people on the internet saying go Putin, which obviously, you know, seems silly, but that's a fact. If you have that kind of attitude, I don't want to read, I don't want to know, I don't want to know nothing, you're much more easily subjected to all the bullshit. So I do think it's important to do make life more difficult for you. I do think it's important to get as much information as knowledge about the world and everything that's happening in it. So you're not one of those people. I see these people, like, you know, and I watch a lot of the newscasts about, you know, Ukraine situation, stuff like that, and there are people like, go Russia, go Putin, stand with Ukraine, stuff like that, and it's like, I'm not necessarily, you know, hating on them. I don't want to hate them. I just understand that those people are very likely being subjected to brainwashing and, you know, things like that through their birth. And obviously, again, there are going to be like people like that everywhere, 100%. But I think right now is just a very good example to show what can happen. And, you know, when you hold a mirror up to somebody and tell them that this could be you if you lived in that country, you know? But that's exactly what would happen. Like that mind process and the attitude that people have, either believing everything that is on the news or just, you know, not wanting to hear about anything or learn about anything. And if you had the same attitude living in Russia, you would 100% right now be cheering for, you know, murder of Ukrainian people, which is very bad. That is the entire reason why I want to make this second channel, or part of the reason. And because it's worldwide. Just because you see now that in one specific instance, again, doesn't mean that it can't be you 10 years down the line when something else happens. And chances are that it likely is you already, just not in the issues of war, just in issues of, you know, smaller domestic, you know, disputes or politics or some other arguments. But hey, what's up, Dubai? So again, I genuinely believe that one of the most important things for every human being is as clear head as possible. Funny things over opening the cow. I went to explore 3.1 on very 40 units. Was a bit on edge. Very good. It's good when you're on edge. Game that can put you on edge is a game that you care about. If nothing in this game could put you on edge, you know, there would be very little reason to kind of play it. For me, it's Alliance War, for instance. And I hope it could be Battlegrounds. But, like, for me, it's Alliance War that can easily put me on edge. Like, you know, when it's tied, when there's still, I don't know, 5 fights left in the war for me. And it's, you know, for top 3 in Masters or for you know, very important victory. War puts me on edge. War is the one game mode, Alliance War, is the one game mode that, you know, can make my hands shake and increase my heart rate and all of that. And you need these things in any game. If the game can't put you on edge or excite you, then it's not all that much reason to play it. Some people, you know, get on edge opening crystals. Some people get on edge exploring content, stuff like that. For me, strongest, you know, kind of impact feels during Alliance War. I think the crisis was brought by US on a Hungry Lion. It will eventually devour you. I think, again, I don't think you're wrong. I don't think that that is the whole truth, though, MrWTF. You can't blame a single party. This crisis has been brought to us by virtually every party involved. UN, NATO, US, Germany, Ukraine itself, and Russia. All of them are part of it. All of it's connected, and all of them are at fault. Obviously, there are, you know, degrees of responsibility, and ultimately, you know, the biggest issue is Russia. And no matter what everybody else did wrong, doesn't give anybody, you know, there is no justification for what Russia is doing right now. Let me put it like that. As in, you can easily kind of condense this situation with, imagine you live in a neighborhood and you have like asshole of a neighbor that you hate, and you do nasty things, you insult him, and you know, you scratch his car, and he hates you back, and you do all the same things, and there is no innocent party. Everyone's an asshole. But the moment you pull out a gun, walk to the neighbor's house and start shooting the children who had nothing to do with your conflict with the father, it doesn't matter what everybody else did. That is the bottom line. You are the one, you know, you are a completely different level of an asshole and, you know, a murderer at that point. In the same way I kind of feel about the situation here. There are things European Union did, there are things NATO did, there are things USA did or could have done, and everybody can think about, if that happened, this would never happen and stuff like that. Like, perhaps, you know, a very legitimate thing. If Trump would have elected, perhaps, you know, he would have, this would not have happened, because this also has to do a lot with energy costs. This has to do a lot with the fact that pandemic has increased energy price. So partially, you know, the entire pandemic, which obviously came from China with participation of US, also led to this. Because if oil prices were as low as they were 3 years ago, Russia would have never done this, or is very unlikely they would have done this. So the supply chain issues, the price of energy going up has led to this. What also has led to price of energy going up is all of the green politics, all the, you know, closure of nuclear energy, all the coal plants being closed, and all this new green agenda. And again, that all of it is connected. Every single country at this point. Putin is likely would not have done this if a third of Europe, literally a third of Europe, would not be, you know, lit up and provided by his own natural gas. Now all of the European countries are pretending to put on a very strict sanctions, and I'm sure they're doing something, but they're not sanctioning, you know, the gas and energy markets. Why? Because they're fucking dependent on it. But why it's the one that matters? Because, you know, 2/3 of Russian economy is the fucking gas and oil, and they're not doing anything to it, and then they're pretending that these are going to be like, you know, significant catastrophic sanctions. It's world is very complex, connected, and difficult, and you can find villains in every story. The way I look at it, there are no good guys really in this situation. Any major institution, any major government has played a role to the situation that has led here. There is no single savior or we are the good guys. The way I look at it, every single major country or organization played too much politics, played for the self-interest, and that ultimately led to this. Every single one of them should be ashamed. Just like every politician right now giving speeches about, you know, unity and sanctions and stuff like that. I think all of them ultimately together are what caused it. I do think that, you know, again, vast majority, the bottom line lies with Putin. Putin is the only one who gave an order to murder people. That's true. But pretending that everybody else in the world, Europe, Germany, UN, NATO, Ukraine, USA had nothing to do with this, could not have stopped it, is bullshit. Also, everybody's saying, like, go to war and, you know, go and attack Russia and stuff like that. You know, those people are also very simple-minded. Fact of the matter is, there is no simple way out of this. Because saying go to war with a nuclear power, imagine you do attack Russia, and imagine you do amass, I don't know, army 10 times the size of Russian army, and you do kill 95% of Russian soldiers, who are likely people who don't want to be even doing what they're doing. And that's another kettle of fish. But imagine all of that, and imagine just before Putin dies, he just nukes every major European capital. No, because he could. Russia, I believe, has the largest nuclear arsenal. There is no easy bad... there's no good guy. There's a lot of bad guys in the story. There's a lot of selfish guys, I'd say. And, you know, there's no easy way out of this either. There's really no easy way out of this. But okay, I'm gonna stop this one. What's up, Henach? How are you doing? Good morning. All saying it's for Ukraine. I had Putin equally, but would not necessarily blame the crisis on him. Well, that's what I just explained. I blame everybody on the crisis, but ultimately the bottom line, the bottom break is on Putin. Putin is, again, you have a lot of conflict. But again, I covered that. Being on edge is fun, but when you're on the edge of 12, 13... Yeah, okay, fine. Easy damage there. Then go in arena. No, it's fun. So, like, who is the greater evil in the situation? Well, obviously, the greatest evil in the situation is the person who gave an order to kill people. That's very simple. There is only one country invading another country. That is the bottom line. At least for me it is. And I'm not saying I'm 100% correct. Maybe somebody can convince me or teach me more things. But that's the way I look at it. I personally think you know, because there is... This is also like a bit personal to me in the sense that, you know, white one, what white one? But yeah, ultimately, my bottom line is there's only one world leader that made a decision to kill a lot of people. They have abandoned Ukraine? Yes, effectively. Effectively they have. Well, again, here's the thing. They have abandoned Ukraine. Yes. That's the way I look at it. At the same time, it's easy for you to blame everybody who has. And I'm sure there are plenty of people to blame. But, you know, what would you do? What would be the solution? Would you escalate the conflict and risk, you know, billions of people dying because of the nukes? And potentially, like, literally the world coming to an end? Or it's easy for us to judge people who are not sending the military, but would you personally be capable of telling somebody's parents that, you know, their kid is getting drafted and likely gonna go and die in a country far away? All of the war is basically pretty much pinnacle of human madness and greed and evil. Once you reach that stage, there is no easy answers, there is no easy solution, there is no easy way out. And even if you're fighting on the, let's say, so-called right side of the history or with moral justification, the decisions that you're gonna have to make are going to be immoral. There is no winners in war. What's up, Kelly and Broly? Complete both parts of the 3.1 side quest. Well, good on you, man. Good on you. Good bed. Alright, see you later, James. Enjoy your night. Russian bleed lot. How much per army? Ukraine will eventually perish without foreign interference. Of course, yeah. You know, it's gonna be very devastating what happens there, unless some hard decisions being made. What's up, Rin? How are you doing? Remember to hit the like button? Why, yes, remember to hit that like button. Remember, the 5th of November. You know why I always remember the 5th of November? Because 4th of November is kind of my name day in Latvia. But here we are. Penny overrated? I don't think so. I don't think so. I think Penny is an influential champion. I think she might be... Penny, like with many champions, Penny is over and underrated by some people offensively. But I think nobody can, you know, dispute her defensive capabilities and prowess. And I don't think nobody can dispute Penny's influence on the game. Like next month, we're going to have Chels Celebration Day. As in like women's boss rush. And next month, there's going to be a Penny in that, and I'm sure that Penny is going to absolutely mob the floor with thousands of summoners trying to clear that boss rush, because Penny is just inherently horridly hard champion to fight with, comparatively speaking, that makes you waste a ton of time. And with that, and because of that, you know, Penny is a scary Alliance War defender. Penny can be a scary, you know, Alliance Quest champion to face off against, and Penny is pretty much the permanent ban in Battlegrounds. The way we look at Human Torch in Alliance War right now, where, you know, every last season, every single war, Human Torch got banned, you know, when Battlegrounds are gonna come, Penny is gonna get banned every single war. So her offensive capabilities are good, moderate. They're not out of this league, you know. She isn't Dr. Doom offensively or Nick Fury. She's not bad. She's capable. But as a champion with, you know, impact on pretty much every game mode, and as a champion that is arguably the top defender right now, I'd say. Yeah, no, I don't think she's underrated. I think it's very important how her counters Penny. Of course, there are champions that counter any champion. But, you know, for instance, in Battlegrounds, it's not like you can ramp up your Herc to 12 charges before you start fighting her, for instance, you know? And in 2 minutes, it's still gonna be trippy. And even if you beat her, like, say, by utilizing that immortality, you know, you're gonna finish with no HP and you're gonna lose that much. And similar, like in, you know, AW. Obviously, it's not like she's getting 10 kills every Alliance war, but she's a champion that forces people to prep for her heavily. So she is one of the most influential champions that got released last year. I don't think she, as you know, her value is overrated. And they were recognizing 2 new states and protecting their rights. Next thing sounds like he said, screw it, just take. Pretty much. Well, that states' rights peacekeeping thing, it was just Russian kind of propaganda, because on Russian TVs, I don't know what they have been showing yesterday, but day 1, as they started this invasion, on Russian television, as they were bombing literally entire Ukraine, every single footage that was shown on Russian TV was presenting Russian troops as peacekeepers in those 2 regions where they, you know, that they declared independent. Not a single shot on Russian national television outside of those 2 regions was shown ever, and it was never mentioned that they are bombing other targets. They were just talking and focusing about those 2 areas. So there are a lot of people in Russia, for instance, who, if you just get your news from state media, would look at it and think it's like, oh, we're giving freedom to these Russian people that, you know, were in Ukraine. That is literally how it was showed to people in Russia. You know, let Ukraine perish or interfere, risk in World War II. That's kind of there. Peni and Mysterious Energy is not as used as Cable and APOC. Any idea? Yeah, there are many reasons why. Number 1, Mysterio and Peni overall are not as capable offensively as Cable and APOC. Like, APOC is one of the best champions in the game right now in terms of versatility. Neither Mysterio nor Peni is or are that versatile. Second of all, Cable is much easier to use than Mysterio is, due to much larger heavy reach and double of the degens. And also the immediate max damage Cable gets is from the very beginning of the fight, so there's absolutely no ramp up for that. Mysterio still wants to get those gases, you know, up to 3, and only then you kind of do the mass long duration poisons. Lastly, degen is rarer than poison is, and degen immunity is much more rare than poison immunity is. Second of all, Mysterio and Peni has a lot of overlap in their abilities, not as much as Cable and APOC does, in a sense. And yeah, you know, there are plenty of reasons for it, which is why I was never that hyped for it. No correct answer to this. Choosing either is a collective failure of humanity. I agree. There's no easy or right answer out of this. To compare the situation to World War II, it's almost parallel. So that it's not, though, is it? World War II started because, here's the thing, people think that and that's an oversimplified view. Why do you think it was so easy for Germany as a country to get so radicalized? It was because after World War I, the world imposed incredible sanctions on Germany, and people were poor, people were starving, people were miserable, people were suffering, and a nation, people as whole, had the stance that, you know, the world is out to get them and they are being punished. And that's why it was so easy for them to be brainwashed and radicalized. Because after World War I, which, you know, is another kettle of fish there, Germany had severe kind of like sanctions imposed on them as a country. And it wasn't that, you know, nobody did nothing. Right? So, each of the... History does have a way of repeating themselves, but nuance and details always matter, kind of thing. What else do I... Oh, where's crossbones? Here's crossbones. Best penny counters. Hercules when you have immortality, Annihilus if you have Dark Ox energy, Magneto in some cases, Quake in some cases, Venom Pull is very, very good counter. There's times I don't own social media accounts, everyone turned the question from health pandemic expertise to geopolitical war expertise nowadays. Yeah, everybody is very, very smart. And I think that's very, again, super important to emphasize that, you know, the things that I say, I do believe that I have paid quite a lot of attention to the topic, but I by no means think that I'm always right or I'm an expert on the situation. And my biggest fear is that, yeah, everybody is going to listen to one news outlet or another now, and are going to have very kind of like radicalized viewpoints on this, again, just like they did with pandemic. It was kind of like, you know, during the COVID pandemic, like, I'm pro-vaccine, but I'm not pro-mandates. But I couldn't really say that I'm not pro-mandates, because then I would be called against being vaccine and being like hated and denied and stuff like that. Because, again, nuance and details matter, but nobody wants to hear nuance and details when you know, foaming at the mouth and you think that you're ultimately the most truthful and morally virtuous human being. That's why I always try to emphasize that it's important to operate from possibility of you being wrong. Even if you feel strongly about something, you're always just one big piece of information, one revelation away from having your worldview shattered. You know. People collect internet points online and real life on... Yeah, it's silly. It's way too late to interfere, but interference early will... And again, that's why these things are difficult. That's why these things are difficult. Venom doesn't counter Petty. Yeah, Venom does not counter Penny. I said Venom Pull. I said Venom Pool. And King Root, by the way, is quite good. Normal defenders. It's casually sees Penny. Sits upright. Oh, and also, Misty Knight is going to be a very good Penny counter. She can be unblockable entire fight. Cable heavy, yeah, cable heavy spam is just so much better. Can Magneto counter Penny? Yes, Magneto can counter Penny. You don't need Herc's immortality for Penny, just spam low and bypass her auto block. Does it really? 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 I thought Penny is immune to all that stuff. No? I'm just checking. Have you done it? Have you tried it? How does it bypass? I always had strong opinions by knowing little. That's why a little bit of knowledge is a very, very dangerous thing. Keep saying this to be a little bit of knowledge is a very, very dangerous thing. Here's like, if you know nothing and you know nothing, then you're like at the bottom of the line, right? If you know a little bit, then you think you know a lot. If you know a bit more, you know, you're much more humble and you understand how little you know, and then you gradually increase kind of like your confidence proportional to your knowledge. But it always starts with this huge wave of, when you know nothing, at least you understand that you know nothing. When you know a little bit about the situation, you think you know so much. And then when you start learning more, you understand how little you actually knew. And it's how people are, you know. It's how people are. Real army is joining forces to help Russia troops in the moment. Chechnya sent out 10k troops to fully train in Ukraine. I heard about that, yes. I heard about Chechnya troops too. But who's good counter for Cav EQ Kitty? Nimrod? I don't know. Nimrod's probably good. Nimrod normally is out Kitty. Oh yes, You can try it unless it's a bug or something. It probably is, because technically that's the point of Kitty. Sorry, Peni Parker. That nothing is really meant to counter it. As in, well, unless you're unblockable, obviously. If you're unblockable, then fine. Katie, the new Socrates. I'm not trying to be. I'm really not trying to be. Because I'm fully well aware that everything that I say can be wrong, you know. I'm not trying to say that this is the truth of the world and life and stuff like that. It's more like, you know, what's the best way to put it? I find issue how a lot of people approach things today. And I genuinely find it to be scary and dangerous. Why are you even surprised that people on social media say the most branded? Nobody said that they're surprised. You know, it's what people come to expect, but you know, you should never be at the point where you are okay with it. You should normalize it. I don't think anybody is surprised, you know. People have said stupid things since the beginning of language existing, you know. Ciao, Katie. Hey, what's up, Victor? Only fingers crossed for okay, for sure. See you later, man. Not everyone has Nimrod. Captain America Sam Wilson Slinger. There you go. Captain America Sam Wilson. Got him so enjoying Null. Even with 10-15 armor breaks, rank 3 he hits, then yeah, he can do quite a lot of damage. He can do quite a lot of damage, and he heals, yes. He heals well too. So, see? Can be quite A-okay. Everything's gonna be A-okay. I'm glad you're having fun with Null. Yeah, Guardian, Crossbones, Guillotine 2099, Silver Centurion also work for kitties, typically. Just check her ability again. Q. Have you read Peni Parker's abilities? I'm just asking. Have you read Peni Parker's abilities? I will see it for myself, but my question is, have you read Peni Parker's abilities? Do you know what she does? There we go. True strike, true accuracy, true sense effect suffer minus 100% ability accuracy. Whichever one of those Herc has, it's one of these. Also, when the opponent feels power, blah blah cannot be prevented by ability accuracy. When Penny would take damage. And Shell max last round best opponent's attack rating. Yeah. And charge to consume. I'm gaining 100% chance to auto block for 2 seconds. This does not trigger parry and cannot be prevented by ability accuracy. Basically what I'm saying, Penny is made to be immune by true strike, true sense, and true accuracy. True strike, true sense, true accuracy. And on top of that, every single ability that she has is meant not to be able to be prevented by ability accuracy reduction, basically, and that would involve whatever Hercules has if it's anything but these three. That's how Penny was built. So it's still not meant to work, you know, still not meant to work. Well, I always use Hercules against Penny as well, but it works only because, you know, I'm at 1 HP, my immortality is triggered, I'm fully unblockable, and I smash everything. You know, that's why it works, because, you know, auto-block can't block unblockable. When this new International Women's Day Bosch is coming, I don't know exactly. Probably 8th of March. Probably 8th of March, yes. Most likely, but we'll see. Don't know exactly. Socrates said they're great because he knows that he doesn't know all. And he knows the things that he does know, while others... that is a very true thing, though. I also think it's very similar to our yesterday's conversation of, you know, whatever we had yesterday, and kind of like about moral virtue. Like, I know for a fact that I have done bad things, and I'm not talking about fuck-ups. I know for a fact that I have made deliberate decisions that are immoral and that have hurt people and that I'm not proud of, and I am aware of that. And in understand and in, you know, trying to lead my life in a way so I don't have to make that kind of decisions again, in the fact that you can understand that those are bad decisions and you can face up to the bad things that you have done and you're not trying to run away from them. And in, you know, all of that, you know, I don't view myself like as a bad human being. I wake up genuinely thinking, you know, I am not bad, that I'm not evil, or even though I have done bad things. And I think that's pretty much with everyone, you know. Every one of us probably has done things you're not happy or proud of. And it not just like fuck-ups or silly things. I mean, made deliberate decisions. And I'm not just talking about silly in-game stuff. I'm talking about like actual consequential bad things. I've had a tricky life, and I need no excuse for the things that have transpired in it, but, you know, I moved to a brand new country when I was 19 years old. I, you know, had to deal with a lot of different people, many of them people nobody should ever have to deal with or want to deal with. I was homeless for a couple of weeks, you know, and, you know, life's difficult, life's tricky, and it's easy to pass judgment on everybody else based on your own morality, but times like that, situations like that, it all kind of takes backseat. You kind of do what you have to do. And you know, all of the people are the same. It's not just me, it's everyone. Like, every single person living here, like, would do messed up, evil, horrible things. Steal, kill, to save their kids, for instance. Am I wrong? But it's good. I like that, you know, life's not easy. I like that life's hard. I like that you have to confront yourself. And I'm happy that I do. Don't want to run away from it. There was a time in my life when I thought of myself as evil. There was a time in my life when I thought that I'm garbage or scum or horrible human. But, you know, I don't at the moment. Anyways, perhaps that's a bit heavy. Perhaps that's a bit heavy-handed subject. But, you know, I don't know. Life's weird right now, so I kind of find myself being drawn to more heavy-handed subjects. So let's get back to it. What's up, Adil? How are you doing? New international. Okay, answer that one. Answer that one. Penny really that hard? Like, you have disable shield before hitting a block to prevent auto block? Penny is really hard if there is time involved. It's not that hard to, like, destroy a penny, you know, in a quest and stuff like that, unless there's like ton of nodes. Because obviously, just like anything else, you know, Penny does have counters that are better than others, but ultimately you can pretty much fight Penny with any champion if you know what you're doing. And you can beat Penny with like most of the random champions, you know, if you know what you're doing, if you have plenty of time to work it. The problem is that you do have to work around all of her abilities, because she ignores all of the ability accuracy reduction stuff. And because you are forced to hit her block, you know, for X amount of times, and then bait out her special attacks, and then, you know, you need to manage to do damage somehow at the same time. All of that is what makes her such a nightmare on like timed fights. And all of that is also what makes the fight innately harder, because you extend the duration of the fight, and by doing so you increase the chance that you will screw up. Make no mistake, the longer any fight lasts, the larger the chance of your input error. It's kind of like, if you think of yourself as an excellent parry master, for instance. I parry, you know, very, very well. You know, there's still margin for error. You might be as good as you are, but, you know, you're gonna nail 9 out of 10, or if you're really good, you're gonna nail out 99 out of 100, right? And if you think you're, let's say, reasonably good at intercepting, what are you gonna nail? 4 out of 5? 9 out of 10? You know, 19 out of 20? But, you know, there is going to be the margin for error. All of us do, because we're not robots. All of us have margins for error. Every time we dash back trying to bait a special attack, there's a chance that opponent's gonna catch up. You know, every time we dash back, there's a chance that we're gonna dash at the wrong time, and you know, opponent's gonna flip us or whatever. Every time opponent uses special attack, there's time that we're not gonna get out of the way quickly enough or dex it. You understand what I mean? We might do it 100 times perfectly, but, you know, 101st when we mess up. And the idea is that it's very simple. Peni makes any fight pretty much long. So you do get a lot more chances to screw up. And most people typically do. That is on top of everything else that is tricky for Peni. So those are the reasons why Peni is, you know, harder defender that many people like to pretend that she is. But yeah, no, it's not because of that Q. Peni is immune to ability accuracy reduction on any auto-blocking related ability. Heard your interview with Prof, and I can relate perfectly. Thank you, Bissos. Thank you very much. I know Lawrence's interaction is weird. Yeah, but it's not meant to be happening, I'd say. What's up, Nate Hawk? How are you doing? What's up, Nate Hawk? We all have been there, Katie. We all have super proud you pulled through. And we are with... Thanks, Bissos. Thank you very much. Mysterio is immune to AR as well, but Mike shuts him down. No, he doesn't. I can't believe the things coming out of your mouth. Magneto does not shut down Mysterio.
$1.99. Man dancing, man dancing, man dancing.
Thank you,
man
Messiah.
dancing, man dancing, kissing face, man tipping hand, poop, clapping hands, crown,
Well,
pointing
thanks.
finger, Ukraine.
Yeah. Mags actually does not stop a single ability Mysterio has. Mags does get benefits that he has against metal opponents, such as he can't miss, or increase in attack, or increase, you know, stun duration, and because of the perfect block and stuff like that. But no, Magneto does not stop any abilities of Mysterio with ability accuracy reduction. For instance, if you fight Mysterio on buffet node, you know, there will not be a single time when Magneto's ability accuracy reduction stops the buffet node. I don't know why you are so wrong, so confident and so wrong, Q. It's not great. One ought not to be that confident and so that wrong. It's not good. Max only turns off nodes. And Max doesn't... If you fight Mysterio with Magneto, you don't even turn the nodes off. Let's see, Chels is Comrade Mama. No, right now I don't find it appropriate to use Comrade title and things like that. I actually changed it on purpose a few days ago because it just kind of felt inappropriate to me. So yeah. Penny's okay. Ban Domino. Why ban Domino? Penny's not okay. And well, I mean, Domino is gonna be a pain in the bum too, for sure. I found. But yeah, I think Chels is either loading up on more margaritas or she had enough margaritas. It's always fun to play that game and you know somebody's having some beverages. Okay, really? Really? That is not most of the time, I suspect, you know. That could happen if you have already broken his armor, maybe, because I don't remember if his ability accuracy reduction is connected to his armor, but if you have armor broken him already, then maybe. But in general, no. You do take the damage back, and you do lose power if he throws level 2s. Yeah, if his helmet is cracked, then, you know, his ability accuracy immunity disappears. So if you have placed an armor break on him, then yeah, you can reduce his ability accuracy. But if his helmet is intact, then no, you still take damage from your level 1s. And you'd still miss, and you can't miss against Mysterio, but you'd still probably lose power. Still lose the power. So, are you sure it's a fact? Are you sure it's a fact? You know, because again, Q, like you better be right about this. Otherwise, I'm about to tear you a new one. Because when you use the words like by the fact, then it better be a fact. So we're gonna go and fight Mysterio. Practice. Let's find a Magneto. There's Magneto. So I want him to use level 1. I'm not breaking his armor. Need. So we're gonna do damage. And who took the damage? I took the damage. So are you sure, Q, that you want to use the word by the fact? No, like no, well, every time you use it's bullshit. You're literally talking bullshit. You are lying and you're trying to weasel out of it. You're talking about the things that you're not certain of. You're literally using words like a fact, and you're trying to weasel out of it. I literally did it in front of you, and you go, well, every time I did it. What do you think, that my Magneto is defective, or my Mysterio is better, or like what's happening? Maybe the helmet was cracked. Well, you know, probably the helmet was cracked. Probably then, if it ever happened. But you're talking bullshit if you're saying it like a fact. It's not a fact. Talking about things you barely know about and you like being overly confident. That's really, really, really bad. You know better than the Twitter folk that have grabbed the first headline of a stupid news article and then, you know, trying to shit on everybody else who does not think the same way or something like that. This is literally the same thing that people on Twitter and shit like that like to do. You think something that may be right or wrong, but then you present it as a fact, and then you double down, and then you know, refuse to even kind of like take back what you said or apologize. Instead you go, well, every time I did it, you know, it worked. Bullshit. Like, why? You literally said, by the fact that blah blah blah. I called you out on it. I tested it in front of your eyes. And you still need to, you know, every time I did it. Really? Really? Like, are you sure about that? Is that a fact too? Fun fact of the day. Farming reward can be used instead of appropriate. Ah, interesting. APT. Cool. I'll use that. I think red max is better than white max by using white max. Both of the max are very good. I woke up in pain. So meds and KT. Well, I hope the meds do their work, man. Hope the meds do their work. I hope you recover quickly. Hope you recover quickly. I hope you don't have any complications, Messiah. Good health to you, my friend. Yeah, Domino is just one of those fights where shenanigans happen, you know. That 15% ability accuracy is like the stupidest thing. Like, how many times I have not been KO'd back in a day because, I don't know, Corvus's Unblockable got cancelled out. And I'm like, oh, I just need to drop this level 2 and I'm going to win the fight. And then, you know, the level 2 doesn't go unblockable and, oops, and there's 15% chance of that. Yeah, Domino is just one of those dodgy fights. Also is a good counter for Peni Parker. I've never tried that. That does sound quite interesting. You reach special 2 with mags and keep up with the heavies to maintain the armor breakdown. You can never. If you reach special 2 with mags and keep it up with heavies to maintain that armor break, then you can. Yes, for Mysterio, yeah. You can obviously maintain the armor break and reduce ability accuracy if you keep the helmet crap. Reduce damage from the damage jar. Applaud it. All you can say. Genuinely thought for a fact. No. I genuinely thought for a fact. You can't do that. You can't do that. I thought for a fact. It's either you know and are 100% convinced that something is a fact, or if you are proven that it's not a fact, then you apologize and say, my bad. You don't go, every time I did it, it was like that. That's not what you do. If you were genuine, that would have been first thing you do. You'd say, my bad, I messed up. Not, every time I did it, it happened like that. You can't do that, Kill. You can't pull that out at the very end, and you have nowhere else to go. You learn something every day, but manners shouldn't be one of them. You're old enough to know better. You learn something new every day, I agree. But you're old enough to know how to conduct yourself. If you're wrong, you're wrong. If you're proven wrong with, you know, undeniable, hardcore evidence right in front of you, you know. Hey, what's up, William Stoner? How are you doing? Don't make him worse than Twitter people. It makes him American Republic. Okay. My rank 3 with one special 3 was able to kill him before his protection ever came back. Well, very good. Well, that's how normally fights against Mysterio go. You drop your heavies, get level 3 and kill him. But don't think that his ability accuracy is not reduced. Alright, I apologize. You see, that's better. That's literally like where it should have ended, and I would have praised you for that. I would have said that you're, like, you know, acting as a mature human being. But you just, you know, had to go through all of that. Why? Is it ego? Is it desire to be right? Or what is it? Not entirely sure, but it is what it is. I feel like when I say KT1, I am calling you by your name and surname. It's like formal. When I say KT, is much more informal and friendly. I guess that works. I guess that fits. Strange. That's a very great post, Lawrence, by the way. That'd be a very great post, Lawrence. An amazing post. Thanks, bro. This is worse this morning than the date happened. Because the date happened, you know, you're filled with adrenaline and stuff like that. That quite often is with physical injuries. Like, I remember, I don't know, playing football, getting my leg wrangled up, mangled, and, you know, yeah, it kind of hurts, whatever. Walk home and, you know, still walk about in the evening, and, you know, it's paining, stuff like that. Wake up the next day, it's like, Jesus fucking Christ, it's like swollen and craft and a pain. It is like that often. Thanks, bro. Yeah. And see that. There you go. Finally got that 5-star skill awakening gem. Don't know who to give it to. Both Fury and Aegon rank 4. I'll go to rank 5, my first one. Well, I think overall, objectively, Fury is much better choice. However, if you plan to rank 5 Aegon and, you know, clear content like Labyrinth or Abyss or something like that, then it's obviously Aegon. If you have immediate kind of like use and purpose, then go with Aegon. But because, you know, if for instance you plan to explore Labyrinth of Legends in nearby future, awaken Aegon, explore Labyrinth, get another awakening gem, awaken Nick Fury. It's kind of fairly logical, you know. You don't need to pick one if you can get both, for instance. But if you do not have kind of personal plans or ambitions to do too much with that Aegon immediately, then as like one-on-one for daily content, Nick Fury is infinitely more appealing than Aegon is, at the very least to me. The last disclaimer there is that you do really want deep wounds if you rank up Nick Fury. Don't think about me. Wake up at 4 AM to let my dog out piss and Q getting spit roasted. Q needs a bit of that at times. Q is a very good young man, I believe that. But he's also a bit of an asshole. Much more often than I'd like him to be. So. And that's facts. So sometimes you get a bit of a spanking. But, you know, there are more of them. Sometimes Devonch does too, and other people. But hey, hope your dog appreciates your sacrifice of your 4 AM unplanned walkabout, I guess. There you go. What's up, Eric Nelson? How are you doing? Feeling misty? I think playing with her rotation is cheesy. Yeah, she is cheesy. She's cheesy. I don't think she's like a Moscow character. I think she's gonna... There might be some reason why she's like very, very popular for some very specific task. But in general, kind of look at her as like fairly cheese character. Her damage isn't like insane, but the coolest thing about her, in my opinion, is that she can spend the entire fight unblockable. You know, she has that level 1, level 2 rotation, which I'm not like that fast about. I think that unblockable thing is much more important.
Messiah 66 $1.99. Man dancing, man dancing, man dancing, man dancing, man dancing.
Well, thank you, Messiah.
Man dancing.
Oh, you're sending the dancing man now because you can't dance yourself, can you? Because you can't dance yourself. Don't think you enjoyed that much more. I don't think he did. can counter it with, there you go. There you go. Well, like grab a day after, it will pass. You're very welcome, Messiah. You're very welcome. Can't seem to kill epic difficulty side quest Iron Man. What's wrong with that? Oh, side quest. You need, first of all, make sure that you have a romance synergy in play. And second question is, if you're having difficulty with that Iron Man, can you reparry? Reparry is kind of important against Iron Man fights. If not reparry, then you need to bait out a heavy attack and counter his heavy attack. And then you have quite a lot of options. You can use APOC with Cable even if you want to, or obviously Magneto is like the best option against them and stuff. But you need to kind of fight A whilst you do have an active Roman synergy. And, you know, it takes a bit of practice, I guess. But what champions you have, Jack? And maybe I can try and show it to you. My dog's even bigger asshole than Q or myself. Appreciates nothing but a full football. I don't think so. It's very hard to move. I don't know. Here's the thing. Unless your dog is Chihuahua, which for whatever reason I have no problem labeling as assholes and dickheads. Unless your dog is Chihuahua, I have this inherent look at all dogs as, you know, nice and sweet and cool and good animals. I'm obviously, you know, not saying that all of them are, but it's just, I find it hard to believe. I find it hard to believe that your dog is bigger asshole than Q or yourself. Because typically doggos are cool. Doggos are cool. Only dogs that I'm willing to throw under the bus are Chihuahuas. I'm quite okay with those. I've never been roasted by KT. Well, you probably don't say that ridiculous things, Simrat. Don't drop it in, maybe. Ah, should pay attention to what am I doing, what I'm doing. Okay, Slinger, let me rephrase that. I do believe that obviously dogs can be scary and aggressive towards the people that they know. I don't think that I have ever seen a dog that's an asshole to their owners. Or I don't believe that many of them exist. Torch is great for Iron Man Infinity War? Yes, Torch is great for it. Can I use my 4-star rank 5 Medusa for Iron Man Infinity War? Oh, there you go, very good. That could work too, yes. Angel is best. Angel is a good counter too, sure, why not? Lucky Dog, Clairvoyant, Sunspot Venom, Human Torch, Sorcerer Supreme. If you have Human Torch, then it shouldn't be too bad. Human Torch, just parry or just hold block and counter his heavies with your heavies. That's it. I can do a duel for you. If you want to kind of show the basic idea. And we're going to pretend that, you know, it's stun immunity and everything else is in play. So I'm going to do a fight with the Human Torch against Iron Man Infinity War. And kind of give you an idea how you should fight against that guy. Okay? Make sure you have the pre-fight ready as well. Because if I'm not mistaken, there's Ebb and Flow knockdown. And if you don't have the pre-fight, then you might have your thingies purified now and then. It's not the biggest deal if you don't, but ideally you want pre-fight for that fight. But let me show you that fight. Let me show you that fight. So let's fight Iron Man Infinity War. I'm not going to be able to use pre-fight on mine, but I don't think I will be. But if you have in your fight, you should use your pre-fight. Otherwise, you're gonna keep losing your incinerates. So if I'm gonna go and pack this, so I'm gonna select the Human Torch. Do I have a ranked Human Torch-ish? Oh, 5-star rank 3. Where's my 4-star human torch? What? It's probably... dang it. Whatever. I'll end up taking lots of block damage and stuff. But the base idea, what you want to do is start the fight by holding block, let him go for heavy attack, wait till he makes his first move, and counter it with your heavy attack. And now I was too late. So you need to be quite quick. I'm gonna restart it. So, hold the heavy attack. No, I'm trying to show it. It genuinely is not that hard. I don't know why I'm making these mistakes. Really is not a big deal. Hold the heavy attack. Don't try to parry him if you don't have Romance Synergy active. Yeah, that was a horrible gameplay. But okay, let's do it properly then. So hold your heavy attack. And heavy him, right? So after his first hit, after he makes his like first leap of his, you see he's burning, you have smolders and all that, then obviously evade his thingy, evade that level 1, block it if you can't evade the, you can block the last bullets, you can't block the first hit. So obviously, you know, my torch is not kind of strong enough, so now we're gonna need to improvise, but because my torch is like rank 3 4-star against rank 2 6-star, so I couldn't quite block everything. But it's okay. See, easy win. But yeah, basic idea is just hold the block. When he throws the starts throwing his heavy attack, dash back, and then, you know, charge your own heavy attack. When he slides in, then punish it with your own heavy attack. And then he can never auto block you either. Even if he has 4 armor ups or whatever armor ups, as long as you only use heavy attacks, he cannot auto block you. It doesn't matter how many armor ups he has. If you only use heavy attack, he cannot auto block you and stun you and stuff like that. That's kind of like the important thing. Don't try to use medium hits and stuff like that to hit him with. So long as you just heavy, he will never ever auto block. And even, you know, I'm playing him like he's stun immune. Obviously I'm taking a ton of block damage because I'm using 4-star rank 3 against 6-star rank 2. But it's really not like that hard. Just hold the block. When he uses his heavy attack, use your own. And you're gonna get time to punish it. And there I obviously smudged it up. But that's the point. That's how you use Human Torch against Iron Man Infinity War in this kind of fight. It's a very good matchup. And if you have pre-fight obviously active, then you can do even more damage and stuff like that. So there you go. Don't know how effective this block strategy is. Well, again, you can, if you can re-parry, you can parry the first hit stuff line, but I'm just trying to make it as easy as possible, you know. Obviously, if I would fight like I normally fight, I would like re-parry everything and trigger them all and make sure I have Romance and stuff like that. Point is, you know, if somebody's struggling with that fight, you know, there's reason why they're struggling. They're looking for advice. They're not looking for the perfect strategy. They're looking for something that's good enough to help them clear that fight. Yeah, you can do that fight better, you know, but you're not the one asking for help. I could be showing, oh yeah, re-parry this, re-parry that, and intercept here now. But, you know, how helpful would that actually be? Appreciate you giving the time and advice, Katie. Cheers, mate. My pleasure, Mark. I like Airwalker, actually want him as 6-star. Airwalker is 6-star. Hey, fair play. You like who you like? I like Carnage, you know. Most people would not be happy they will do Carnage for the first time. I like Carnage a lot. Pretty sure he used him one of the XL pass and pass. I am quite sure somebody used Call in a Legends run for a bit, yes. effectiveness is block sentence. Well, you can go and check out how effective that block strategy is. You're gonna have probably the last 15%. Well, if you play right, that last 15% isn't really a problem because of power stings, and you do progressively more damage as the fight goes on with your incinerates because the smolders increase. And lastly, you can still wait out the last 15%. You know what I mean? Those armor ups aren't indefinite. When he's at 15%, he can still be at a point when there are no armor ups on him and he gains no power. And then you still do the same thing. You don't risk it. You just punish his heavy with your heavy. He gains armor up, you know, wait a bit. But it's not like it's an indefinite thing where he never stops gaining power. And yeah, you can do a lot of different tricks. Like, you can bait out opponents' heavy attacks without getting hit in the block. I have an entire video on it as well, if you're interested. You know, again, you can make it as perfect or complex as you need. I have an entire video literally made about how to bait out opponents' heavy attacks without getting hit on a block. And I could have showed that, you know, re-parries and try and bait out heavies the best you can and smash and intercept. But why? Again, you're completely missing the point of who am I talking to. If somebody, you know, and this is not meant to be in a mean way, I'm talking with somebody who is struggling with Iron Man Infinity War in the side quest. Then do you think he will be able to intercept perfectly or bait out those heavy attacks without getting touched or re-parry every hit? No. And the same thing with you. You know, when you start playing this game, you played worse and you beat the fights with, you know, holding your block and baiting out opponents' heavy attacks or punishing their special attacks and taking much more block damage and everything else than needed. Now you're trying to be a smartass in the sense that, oh, it can be done more effectively. Of course. But you didn't start playing like that. You know, you didn't start playing this game with perfect intercepts and everything else. So, again, these comments are from you, the ones that just kind of like, shit. If you're like being honest. Because if I thought he's able to re-parry Iron Man Infinity War, or he's close to being able to do that, he would not have had the need to ask for which champions are good or how to defeat it. He's learning, he's good, we all had to learn. But just because you have learned something, don't think that everybody has to kind of be on your level. Yeah, that's pretty much that. That's pretty much what Lawrence described. Just because you have learned something, you know, don't look at everybody by kind of like your own standard, you know. There are people who play this game better than you. There are people who play this game worse than you. That doesn't mean that they're better or worse people. It just means that they have spent, you know, different times in a game, or they're differently, I don't know, capable. But, you know, don't assume that everybody is exactly where you are. Due to aggressive armor, he'll be constantly getting power. Yeah, but still, the power gain isn't as quick. First of all, he said not legendary. I don't think there is an aggressive armor in the second difficulties. Lastly, even with that, you can still squeeze in several hits, as he's constantly gaining power. Also, if you're being fast or active enough, that's not the only reason. You're again trying to weasel out of things that you said. It is by no means the only reason. You just find, again, you are trying to find the convenient way how to backslide out of the conversation by rejecting, you know, your own, let's say, misdeeds in a situation. That was not the only reason. You started with the block damage. Problem with the block damage. What was the point of saying that? If the only reason was the last 15% that you started talking about, then why did you complain about the block damage? you're a typical boy who's being called out, and then you're trying, oh, I was just joking, or I was just, you know, genuinely trying to help, or I was just trying to do this. No, you know exactly what you were doing. It's not good. It's not end of the world. It's kind of assholeish. But you're not gonna for a second convince me that, you know, oh, I was all the time from the beginning of this conversation thinking for the last 15%, therefore I was trying to imply that Human Torch might not be the best counter. Or whatever it is that you're right? No. No, I'm not that stupid to just believe you on a face value the things that you say just because it's you who's saying it. No, it's not for real. It's not for real. Epic difficulty also. Okay, epic difficulty still has unstoppable armor. Okay. Now best champ for MNG boss is Carl. And okay, 1 second. Oh. It's okay though, you know. It is perfectly a-okay. Katie, it's an update today for those who think they know more than they do and less than they think. Yeah, I guess so. I guess so. It's okay. I can understand the problems. Okay, if you're really, really that convinced. Okay, fine. I might be wrong. Maybe you genuinely did have the best intentions at your heart. Didn't make a single comment that was out of place, and everything you did was indeed just to, you know, be helpful. You know, maybe I'm wrong. Still don't buy it, but willing to accept it. But the question is, like, you know, even with Cult, he still has that aggressive armor, right? Yes, you can armor break, but you know, with Human Torch you can also get rid of armors while landing heavy attacks. I think universally, and for most part, if you compare the situations, you know, Human Torch is genuinely considered as a better option for Iron Man Fintuber. Would be my guess. No? But hey, let's go for it. Let's have a bit of fun then. I should have a 5-star rank 3 call. Hey, what's up, Growler? How are you doing? Almost missed it? Yes, you did. Yes, you did indeed. Again, the problem with Call is the ramp up as well, though. You know, I'm sure, 100% sure, Human Torch is much better than Ramp. Also, does it has ebb and flow knockdown? Okay. Yeah, but again, then you're also saying that he should be ramping up Call, and ramping up Call is an entirely different issue there also, first of all. With Human Torch, he can use all the champions along the way, and he doesn't have to worry about ramping up. And if you don't ramp up Call, then Human Torch is 100% better option. That's another thing. In general, you know, my advice to pretty much, you know, everybody would be, who do you use for that boss? Call Obsidian or Human Torch? I'd 100% go with Human Torch. I get the idea. And yeah, and that ebb and flow knockdown thing you know, if you, that ebb and flow knockdown is going to purify all of your armor breaks anyways, if you're not able to do it like super quickly. So, you know, assuming that you still are with the best intentions at heart, I think, you know, it's fairly specific advice that is not necessarily the best thing for most people. Because, well, yeah. I think for the vast majority of the people, it definitely is not the best thing. Perhaps most importantly, this entire conversation started with, what are your better options, or what are your champions, when I asked Jack. Jack answered, Black Widow Clairvoyant, Sunspot, Venom, Human Torch, Sorcerer Supreme. Those are his champions. Khun was not mentioned there.
Growler 64, Oz $5. Growler grabs a doily and throws it at Chels like a ninja star. It does 0 damage. Critical fail.
Thank you very much. But yeah, the biggest point is, you know, Khun was never even mentioned as one of his options, so whilst I was genuinely just trying to help Jack the best I could, you were just kind of I don't know why you know, try to interject your personal experience, I guess. But yeah, you know, the whole point of me using and showing Human Torch for the time in Infinity War was because Human Torch is one of his options as a champion. It's like, I could have just said, you know, use Magneto, and, you know, fight's gonna be super easy, and it probably would be. That would be what you did, but, you know, that... Alright, Devonch. Sometimes you just want to slap you a bit. Genuinely. I should have noticed it earlier, that, you know, that entire Khun argument and conversation was relatively pointless. Because we only got here to try and help Jack defeat that Iron Man Infinity War. But you just tried to make it all about yourself again. Who did I try to be the boss with? Well, I think I used Magneto 1 or 2 times. I used Cable sometime. I used Magneto and Cable for the most part. Oh, and I think Hercules once. That's about it. Screw calling Human Torch. Hawkeye's best time, Infinity Kinda nah. No. But this is gonna be pretty much it for today's stream, though. I think we have spoken for a while. You know, kind of wandered off topic. Good luck selling that one, Sim. Yeah, Simrat is selling Hawkeye everywhere. You know, if I'm gonna need my house painting, he's gonna insist that I call Hawkeye. I'm gonna need, I don't know, floor change downstairs, he's gonna say Hawkeye is best for it. Everything, always. In this chat, there are fanatics of Hawkeye and Iron Man Infinity War. Every time either one of those champions is remotely capable or appropriate for problem at hand, be that some sort of difficult boss or some, you know, theoretical conversation about imaginary scenario, you know, there's always somebody with Iron Man Infinity War and there's always somebody with Hawkeye. Shame we didn't get it one more time in the stream for hat-trick? Yeah, I guess so. Screw calling him. But no. Call Supreme? No. Honestly, Devonch, I'm gonna message you afterwards about this. As always, the best answer. Bullshit. Either way, hope you guys enjoyed the stream, and I'm gonna catch you guys later. See ya.
Hello there, guys, and welcome back to the channel. So we have all the information about the next.
What the fuck is going on?